Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah ma ba'd. The question is asking here, and this is not the first time they've been asked this question, hence I made a video. Was Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah a Sufi? Was he a promoter of a tasawwuf? Did people take to him from the Sufi sect after he passed away? A lot of questions here, and what we're going to try and do is answer some of these questions just by looking at his book, or his books and his works. Here in front of me we have Majmu' Fatawa from Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, a compilation of everything that he has authored, everything that we can get our hands on that he has authored, rahimahullah. Hence it's called Majmu', a collection of all of his fatawa. 37 volumes in total. Each volume, I would say, an estimation of maybe 400, 500 pages. So you can do the math. 400, 500 pages times about 37. That's all of his works. Right. How does it begin, this collection of all of his work? Number one, volume number one, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Volume number 2, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Volume number 3, Mujmal I'tiqad al-Salaf, meaning a summary of the belief and the Aqidah of the Salaf. Volume number 4, Aqidah again. Volume number 5, Asma' al-Sifat. Volume number 6, again, Asma' al-Sifat. Number 7, Iman. Number 8, where's number 8? Number 8. Where are you? Number 8 here, Al-Qadr. Number 10, Ilm al-Suluk, meaning purification and spirituality, etc. 11, Tasawwuf. Before I explain this, I just want to give us all a benefit. I've heard from the current Mufti, Sheikh Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh. He says, if your bookshelf is neat and tidy, then there is something wrong. So please excuse why it's not in order and I'm moving the video around. Okay, 11, At-Tasawwuf. So he's got a chapter here on Tasawwuf. And let me just stop here. I just want to make an observation. Let me just look at 12. What's 12? 12, if I can find 12. Nash, where are you, Nash? Here. Tafsir. Okay, so now he's moving on to a different sort of science and discipline. That means from 37 volumes, 11, so like nearly a third, all about Aqidah. Here we've got another book. Where are we? Here. Al-Istighatha fi Radd al-Bakri. This here, this fat book here, is a refutation of a person called Bakri, and he was an extreme Sufi at the time of Ibn Taymiyyah. How is it possible that a person can then say that he was a Sufi? Here we've got another book, a really nice book here. It's a very beneficial book. And I actually believe that Sheikh Al-Albani modelled his book on Tawassul on this. Qaida al-Jaliyah fi Tawassul wal-Wasila. And this is with the checking of Sheikh Rabi ibn Hadi, Hafidhahullah. Here he talks about Tawassul. And then he explains what correct Tawassul is and how going to the graves and worshipping people at the graves and all of that is not legislated. But let's go back to this now here. So what we've seen so far is Ahl Sunnah. And we've done this before as well. If you're interested to see what's in volume 1 of Majmu' Fatawa, obviously it's in Arabic, it's not available in English, it's some 300 and something pages. We've actually done a case study and a cross-reference between this book here, this volume here, and Qawaid al-Arba' of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Wahhab. And if you want to see what is in here, you can see a summary of all of this in Qawaid al-Arba' by Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah. And I've got a video on that. You can go, we did that in the masjid as a dars, so you can go and refer back to that. Therefore, there's no way that a person can... anyone who knows Ibn Taymiyyah would know that the person called towards Tawheed. He called towards going back to the way of the Salaf as-Salih. And not innovations. And not tawassul. And he refuted the people of bid'ah and shirk and khurafat. And tasawwuf in a sense. However, here is something which is really important that we need to understand. This is another book that we've managed to translate, and this is a book which was authored by our Sheikh Saad ibn Nasr Shithri, Hafidhahullah, and in this he talks about tasawwuf And the arkan of iman with Ahl Sunnah, and the arkan al iman with the people of Tasawwuf. So we believe in the oneness of Allah. What do the people of Sufism believe in? We believe in the books, we believe in the angels, we believe in the books, we believe in the messengers, we believe in the last day, we believe in Qadr, etc. What do they believe in? And there's a comparison that is being made between what is orthodox and what isn't. I just want to highlight this little bit here. Now, the footnotes in this book have been approved by the Shaykh. On page number 8, Ibn Jawzi rahimahullah explains. Now, this is taken from Talbis al-Iblis. He's got a book, The Devil's Deception. And in this, he talks about how Sufism began. So I'm just going to read this out. The Sufis are a group that arose initially calling to zuhd. And this is what we're going to see here. That's really the answer. They grew initially and they came up calling towards zuhd, meaning exert yourself in worship, benefiting yourself so you can prepare for the akhirah, abandoning the life of this dunya, exerting yourself in worship, etc. However, the deceptions of Iblis overtook this group of ascetics. It began as a group of people seeking to be ascetic, as people who have zuhd. So we must be careful not to tarnish them all. Very important. So now, how is it that Ibn Taymiyyah praised or has a chapter here on tasawwuf? Not all of them the same. Especially from the earlier generations, there were people who were in line with the Salafi manhaj, but they used to call themselves Sufi. So tasawwuf began as a methodology with seeking zuhd. So people affiliated themselves with Sufism and tasawwuf. Later practices, such as music, singing, dancing, were introduced. Innovations, grave worship, innovations. As a result, the objective of seeking the akhirah was lost, and this is what happens with bid'ah. And nothing was left of them except that they became a people who sought the dunya instead, seeking comfort and idle play within it. Therefore, it's absolutely necessary that we expose the deceptions of Iblis that has affected this group. It's important for us to understand that tasawwuf and Sufism isn't all the same. And to highlight that even more, I'm just going to go to the contents page. Obviously, we're not going to read the whole book. In actual fact, this bit here, this is actually translated into English. Al-Farq Bayn al-Awliya al-Rahman wa Awliya al-Shaytan. It's a really nice book. So this is a standalone book that you can find, and it's been translated into English. And in it, all he talks about is taqwa and getting closer to Allah and being from the allies of Ar-Rahman. So this is his understanding of tasawwuf here. So here, in the context, in the beginning of it, as-Sufiyya wal-Fuqara, poverty. Mas'ala fil faqr wa-tasawwuf, meaning abandoning the dunya. Ahl as-Suffa, those people that used to live at the back of the masjid, they were too poor to afford any kind of accommodation for themselves. Here, Ahl as-Suffa again. Next page. Let's have a look. سئل عما يقول حب الدنيا رأس كل خطيئة. Loving the dunya is the head of all sins and the head of all mistakes. He was asked other questions about, abandoning the life of this dunya and preparing for the akhirah. And like I said, exerting yourself and not being connected to the life of this dunya. Okay, so all of that is there. And then in the end of it, actually, at the end of this volume, he actually refutes what isn't correct from tasawwuf. Okay, so I'm just going to try and look for an example. I remember seeing an example where he talked about sama' and people taking to munadhara. Here's a munadhara. Lidajajila Abu Tahiyya. He has a debate with those people who are claiming to be Sufis, but they weren't. In actual fact, they had introduced into the religion which was not from it. Jama'ah اجتمعوا على أمور متنوعة من الفساد. Innovations into religion. They've gathered in the masjid, etc., and in their circles and innovated. سئل عن سماع الصالحين, the music of the pious. سئل عن السماع. And there are so many examples of, even just in here, of how, rahimahullah, he was not from how people understand Sufism today, just like Ibn Jawzi has explained here. He was definitely upon the manhaj and the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, wajib al-i'tiqad al-salaf. And in order for us to understand the use of the word at-tasawwuf and Sufism, we have to go back to its origin and where it came up from. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us all tawfiq and success. Actually, one last thing, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah actually mentions that after he passed away, they took his grave as a shrine, and they were actually Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. And this is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they did this with the Anbiya, if they did this with the Rusul, then what about those people who came that were pious after? Ibn Kathir rahimahullah mentions that after Ibn Taymiyyah passed away, people used to go to his grave, and they used to basically grave worship Ibn Taymiyyah. But he responds, Ibn Kathir himself, I don't have that book or that quote to hand right now, but he responds and he says, what's Ibn Taymiyyah got to do with those people that introduced this practice after his death? What Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah will be accountable for is what you see in front of you and his actions. Therefore, these people introducing, he's got nothing to do with it. These people attaching themselves to Ibn Taymiyyah, he's got nothing to do with it. He was definitely according to the manhaj and the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the best of understanding, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala returns us to His religion with the best of returning. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.